This video is part of a full podcast, link in the description for the full podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Enjoy the video. What's up guys, welcome back to the PL Pod right here on YouTube. I'm Daniel and we are back with another segment, or if you're watching this as a video, we're back with a new video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment something interesting maybe. Turn the notification bell on. I never asked you to do that. I'm pretty sure you've got to press all notifications now as well, so do that because that really helps out. While we're promoting everything, go and follow the Spurs News on Instagram because this is a new video and you probably won't hear it at the end. So do that as well. Right, we're here to grade all Spurs transfers and we'll start off with the first transfer that came up when I looked at it on Transfer Market. Manor Solomon. Now, this is a player I actually really like. I watched him a lot last season. I keep an eye on a lot of Israeli footballers. And Solomon is a top player. What do you make to him coming to Spurs?
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. I want to say it was out of the blue. Solely for the fact was, I think Fabrizio Romano said we had a little bit of interest and everyone was like, okay, brilliant. Spurs are interested in half the players in the world, the majority of the time. And then we just randomly one day got a here we go out of nowhere. And everyone was a bit like, okay, it is what it is. He's a free player, so obviously that speaks to Levy, music in his ears. Again, you start looking him up in Fulham. I remember he went on a pretty decent streak towards the end of the season. So you think, okay, you can cut it in the Premier League. He seems to be doing all right. And to be honest, in pre-season, he's been really impressive. He's been playing some decent football. I don't think he's got any goals or assists yet, but the way he plays football just works really well, despite being extremely small. He seems to be coping absolutely fine. Played against United yesterday, as of recording this, and he had a decent 10-minute, 15-minute cameo. So, been quite impressed with him. He's probably our Lucas Moura replacement, who we spoke about earlier. But yeah, he's a player that I'm excited to see grow because he's still quite young as well.
Of course, and he did really well with Fulham last year. We all know about that. Fulham fans don't like him anymore. He did kind of snake them, didn't he?
Yeah, he made it sound like he was just heading back to them and then just disappeared.
Disappeared off to Spurs. I mean, do you think he's better than Kulusevski? We'll speak about him later. I presume they're there to do that same right wing role, which is really weird. You've got a backup for right wing because you don't have a backup for striker or left wing. Not any good ones that I know of anyway, unless I'm forgetting about somebody massive. It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Kulu, look, his first 6 months at the club were pretty decent. But he sort of seemed to have dropped off form a little bit. So Solomon, I think he's just coming in to give Kulu that bit of a push, to make Kulu know that he's not the only one with that position. There are others available. Even Perisic could probably play on the right wing if we wanted to. But Solomon is coming in as well for a little bit of a Brian Gill replacement, who's out at the moment for the next couple of months because he had to have some sort of surgery on his back or something. But again, when Brian Gill comes in, that's another player to push for the position. So I wouldn't say he's going to take the position just yet, but he's definitely in contention for it probably within the next few weeks if Kulu doesn't perform.
For sure. And I mean, we've discussed him there. I wasn't going to speak about it now, but we might as well. Kulusevski, what do you make of this permanent move? Obviously a £30 million switch from Juventus to Tottenham. He's basically been a Spurs player anyway, hasn't he? Because he's been there for so flipping long. This loan move, has it been 18 months? It feels like it's been forever. The football world feels like it was an awful lot different when he initially sort of touched down in London. I mean, Abramovich was still the Chelsea owner. Like, that kind of says all you need to know. What do you make to this permanent deal?
Yeah, so spot on there. It was an 18-month loan deal from Juve. I think Juve just sort of wanted him gone and they could get a bit of money for him. Typical Spurs, when it came to making his move permanent, we went back to Juve and asked for a bit of a discount, which we managed to get in the end. As I say, he had a really good first sort of 6 months and everyone was really impressed and thought, wow, we've got a decent player on our hands here, and he's, 22, 23 when he came to us. And you think, okay, maybe we've got a good player here, and had a bit of an average start to last season, but so did the majority of the team, to be honest, so you couldn't really pin it on him too much.
No.
He then picked up a pretty hefty injury just before the World Cup, and everyone was like, okay, well, he's got the World Cup to recover, hopefully he comes back. But since then, he's looked like a shadow of the player he was before. I don't know whether that's a bit in his mind where he thinks, oh, I can't go into too many challenges because I might get injured again or what. But he hasn't looked the same now. A lot of people sound harsh on Kulusevski, but I just know he's a decent player who's got something there. But he just needs to get his form back, needs to find some form. And I just hope in the Postecoglou system he can pick himself up. I mean, the fans are all behind him. I haven't seen anyone saying that we should sell him already, even though we only brought him a couple of months ago. But yeah, it is a bit of a shock how far he's dropped off from what he was. But again, you need to give him time with the new manager. I'll give him a couple of months at least to see what he can do.
For sure. I did say we were going to grade these as well. So if we give Kulusevski a grade first, then we'll go back to Solomon. What would you sort of grade Kulusevski? We'll go for the classic A to F system. We all know it. It's easier than the numbers because who cares? And it was A-level results the week just gone. So good luck to any of you that got them. Kulusevski, what would you give him A to F?
Probably a B in terms of how much ability he has, and we know he has, and the fee involved, his age. Probably a B overall.
Okay, I think that's nice. I'd go and C personally. Solomon, what do you think about him?
Probably a C there,
C,
just
okay.
because again he's not much of a starter at the moment, but again young potential, can do it in the Premier League. So I think we need to see a bit more, but I think a C is fair for him now from what we've seen so far.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll move on to the next player then, and it's Ashley Phillips. What do you make to this transfer?
Yeah, so I'd be lying if I knew much about him before we were interested in, but he looks fairly decent from what I've heard and seen about him. Spoke to a couple of Blackburn pages who were giving me a bit of a rundown, and they said that he was a good talent. Definitely one for the future. He was playing with I think under 21s the other day, so not quite ready for that first team football yet, but one to watch out for in the future. Young, looks decent. So happy we signed them again. It was a very, very small fee, I think £2 million, if that. So one for the future, not too worried about it at the moment.
No, okay, fair enough. And what would you give him a grade? I know it's very difficult to grade, but...
Yeah, as I say, it's difficult to grade. Probably just a D for the fact that it would be unfair to give him anything less just because he is one for the future. We can't compare him with first team players at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. Right, we'll move on to a guy who definitely can compare. And a guy who I've stated, I'm pretty sure I've done him in one of the rating transfers. I don't like this signing. I don't see the point. Vicario, the goalkeeper. Why?
It's just because Hugo Lloris, for whatever reason, has completely dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I suppose you might see him in the back of the odd training video or something like that, but the only words we've got about him in the last few months is when the squad went on tour to Asia, and he was literally just a one-liner at the bottom saying Lloris ain't coming because he's looking at transfer opportunities or something like that, and everyone was a bit like, oh, okay, our captain, our player that's been there for donkey's years, and that's all he gets. So Vicario again. Maybe at first I thought he was coming in as the number 2 because we were still toying with a Raya deal. But it's definitely obviously clear now that he's coming as the number 1. At the start, I was a little bit worried because he did look a bit shaky even during pre-season. Maybe because the defence that was in front of him still wasn't the best because we didn't have centre-backs at that time. Good centre-backs even. But saying that, against United yesterday, he had a really, really good game. Made a couple of decent saves, was commanding, didn't look as shaky, looked a bit more confident. So he's clearly one of those players that needs time to gel with the squad. As I say, still not overly impressed with him, but he's one of those players that, again, you got a new manager, I'm willing to give time to him.
Fair enough. What would that grade be from the A to F?
Probably, I know you might not agree with this, but I'd probably say a C.
How much was it again?
It was only like 16 million quid, if that.
I mean, I guess that's not loads nowadays. It's still a lot of money though. As long as you bring in another keeper, fair enough. But he's just not good enough to be a number 1. And he can't be brought in to be...
We'll see.
If we're spending 16 million on backup goalkeepers nowadays, oh my God. I know Chelsea spent...
How much? How much did Arsenal pay for Raya and Ramsdale?
Yeah, but Ray is like probably going to take over, and Ramsdale
Yeah,
did
I
take
think
over.
so.
I mean, Sanchez will become a backup for Chelsea, and he was what 25.
Yeah.
The world's crazy. The world, can we stop, please? I don't like these new football fees. Why are stop? Saudi Arabia, go away. Just, I'm not doing it. Go away. I don't want to be like Europeanist, but like I don't like you. You're inflating everything. You're signing Otavio. You signed Malcolm for 60 million.
Yeah, there's something dodgy going on there.
You're signing Otavio from Porto for like 50, 60 as well. You're paying 48 million for Mitrovic. Like, Mitrovic is a good player, yes, but nobody else apart from Saudi Arabia are going to pay 50 million for Mitrovic. Nobody. Even Spurs need a striker, and you lot wouldn't pay. To be fair, you maybe
No,
would.
not sure.
But like
we'll see.
for 50 million, like 35, 40, okay. And I know in this market you wouldn't go for 35 or 40 because everything's so inflated. But like that's what he is.
Yeah.
He's a 35 million striker. And then in theory they should be able to go out and get a replacement for 20 million. But they wouldn't. Oh, I hate it.
The people know they got money now.
Yeah, it's stupid. I don't like this market. Saudi Arabia, go away, please. Thank you. Unless you want to buy any of our players. What do we think about Pedro Porro's move to Spurs from Sporting? Is it Sporting CP? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, Sporting CP, Sporting Lisbon, one
Yeah.
too. Yeah, when we signed him, I think we spoke about it on one of the previous pods.
Probably.
Actually, as a player Spurs would be interested in. Good signing at the time. Now, we obviously under Conte, his famous 5-back system. He was the perfect match, a right wing back, bombing up and down. Wasn't too great defensively, and still isn't, but suited that system very well. Now, the problem is that when he comes into the back four, he does struggle with defending Porro. Now, we paid, I think it was about 40 million quid or just under, it might be 39 something, for him. And you think, well, we haven't even technically made his transfer permanent officially.
Okay.
But obviously he's still here, so he's a Tottenham player.
Yeah.
But as I say, he just doesn't really fit the system now. If Ange can get him to learn how to defend, then sure, we're good, we're laughing, because Porro is a good player, attacking as well. Obviously with the Ange system, he cuts inside and essentially plays as just another midfielder. So if he can get him playing that, he'll be all right. Against United yesterday, he was okay. There was a lot of times he was completely out of position, but that comes with time. So willing to give him time in the Ange system and see if he can test with Royale, but Royale probably gets the shout at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. So how do you sort of grade that from the A to F?
Probably a C, solely for the fact that he's still a good player. There's just that one aspect that he needs to work on.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, absolutely. And then we'll move on to a man who I know a lot about. I've watched this guy go from a boy to a man. A young child, some would say. He was 21. Or 20, I don't know. A young child. He looked about 5. And he's matured. He's been through a lot. He won the FA Cup. Did barely anything, but he won the FA Cup. And then he matured into a man. And now he's left for 40 million. It's James Maddison.
What a signing. Honestly, yeah, thank you for your best player.
Thank you for the Premier League title.
Yeah. During pre-season, he was really, really good. Brentford up there for man of the match, and it's the same against United. Yesterday, he's literally the perfect player for the system, and Postecoglou said it in his press conferences. Ever since Ederson left, he's just that player that we've been crying out for, that creative midfielder that we thought Ndombele was going to be, but he just decided he doesn't like football anymore. But Maddison is a top signing for the price tag as well. I know he only had a year left in his contract, but I can't complain because he is a brilliant player.
For sure. And then A to F, I know this is going to be like an A, and like, you know, it's going to
probably an A. No, I'm joking. Yeah, of course it's an A.
Would you give it an A star? I
probably would, to be honest, just because he's, for us, The perfect player, absolutely perfect.
We should have charged you more. We could have got
You
50.
probably should have, to be honest. We essentially got Maddison for 30 million plus Harry Winks. When you look at it in today's market with Casado going for 115
Yeah, but
mil,
we're a
Lavia going for
champion. I
60 mil.
know Lavia's gone for a lot, but that was stupid. At the time, Maddison was the equal biggest departure from the Championship,
Yeah,
alongside
is what it
Ake,
is.
who went to
Well,
City.
after.
But yeah, James, I kind of miss you, ish.
You do,
Surprise.
deep down.
Yeah, but it's just wait until he starts mouthing off on Twitter. When he starts mouthing off, who's the is it Alistair Gold? He's a big Spurs journalist, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Wait until he starts mouthing off at him. Because
Then we'll send him back.
oh, please. Moving on, because I'm not having another. I haven't had any James Maddison related breakdowns. I don't care that much. Van der Ven, he's a good player. Not worth 50 million though. Is he?
Well, you say 50 mil. It was 42 million pounds with add-ons. So without add-ons, it's 34 and a bit. I
Oh,
think it was.
jeez. Okay.
Which was so it's 34 million pounds plus 8 million add-ons or whatever. So
Where did I
again,
hear 50 from then? I heard 50 from somewhere.
because people love to inflate prices, so it's like 50 million euro, but just under, and then people round it up. So it sounds bigger than it actually is, but is a top signing for us. Is a big signing that we definitely needed after our mistakes last season.
Yes.
Our defence was shocking last year. It was up there with your Bournemouth, your Everton, your Leicester.
We weren't that bad, were we?
No, I just wanted to check you. So yeah, he was starting straight in against Brentford. Literally had been at the club for I think about 3 or 4 days, and admitted he'd only had a handful of training sessions as well. But he looked pretty good against Brentford. He was probably up there with one of our best defenders, solely for the fact that Romero went off injured. But he's absolutely rapid as well. And yesterday against Man United, that showed. Tracking back with Rashford and Anthony and players like that. So I'm really happy we signed him. A player that we definitely needed for our type of football, because if we are playing that high line, we need that player that can get back quickly and recover. So really happy with his signing.
Okay, and then how would we be grading this then on the A to F?
So if we're saying Maddison's an A-star, I'd probably put Van der Ven at the A.
At the A, okay. He's a good player. I do like him. I still think you possibly could have got better. You do need to obviously bring in somebody else. I'm still looking at that Bayer Leverkusen 3 of Tar, Tapsoba and Hincapié and going, how have none of those three been picked up? Like, they've got...
Leverkusen want too much.
they've got 3... Surely you can get Hincapié for like 40.
Probably, but we tried for Tapsoba and they wanted like 60, 65 plus, so we sort of walked away from that one.
That's fair enough. Tapsoba was the best out of the 3 though. I mean, they've got 3 top centre-backs there. Like, even Tar's a decent centre-back. I wouldn't recommend him for Spurs because he reminds me a bit too much of just... This is going to seem really disrespectful. He reminds me a bit too much of a blob. And
just there.
Yeah, just like not Harry Maguire level, but that kind of player who's not really quick enough. He's not really good enough in the air. He's just a bit of a blob. And that's not fat shaming before any of the new era comes out, because I'm sure there'll be some of you listening, some of you wokeness. We'll move on. Because the less I say, the better. I'll offend someone. Jonathan Tah, I think you're a good centre-back though, and I did think you should have come to Leicester. If you still want to come to Leicester, I'll happily take you. We just might have to pay Leverkusen a lot less. Last but not least, we'll move on to your new Argentinian striker. No, it's not Lautaro Martinez. No, it's not Lionel Messi. No, it's not... Give me another Argentinian striker.
Julian Alvarez.
It's not Julian Alvarez. It's Vélez.
Yeah.
Better than all of them. Better than all of them.
He is better than all of them. And obviously that's officially known throughout football.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's a bit like Phillips. He's a young player, definitely one for the future. But he played really, really well in Argentina. I can't remember off the top of my head what club he actually came from, but we paid about £11 million, £10 million maybe. So
not bad.
One of those investments for the future. And again, if he plays well, then is only going to go up. So we signed him. He got his work permit and that, but he hasn't actually been involved in any matchday squads yet for Brentford or for United, which is sort of understandable because he's still young. I think he's only 18, 19. And Postecoglou would admit that probably for the first few months we wouldn't really see any of him unless we play him against maybe Fulham for 10 minutes at the end of the Carabao Cup game, but I highly doubt we'll see him. But again, he's one for the future, looks bright, but it's hard to judge him at the moment, really.
Okay, fair enough. And there we go. We've graded all the Spurs transfers. James Maddison coming out with an A star and Van de Ven coming out with an A, the top two. Wait, did you give Velez a grade in the end?
We'll give Velez a D for now.
A D, there we go. Velez finishing off with a D, and there we go. There are all the Spurs transfers graded. We will take another short break here before we come back to have a look at how Spurs spent the money the last time they got a big influx of cash.